Oh, I hear a dog. I love that.
Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry.
No, leave your dog there. Seriously, we're going to talk about all the stuff you're doing while we're all like sitting at home.
Can you see?
I can see you, Dree, but you're frozen on my screen.
Okay, I thought that too. I was like, it looks like I'm frozen, but don't know why.
Oh, yeah. It looks like you're frozen too. It's okay.
Oh, good. Okay, let me see if I can do something here.
Annabelle, can you see
Wait,
me?
Andrea, can you speak?
Alan, are we live?
Yep, we're live.
Oh, so we're live. So here we are, everybody. So
Hi.
welcome, everyone. Hey, how are you, ladies?
Hello.
Hi. So good.
Well, I'd like to welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me and joining the queens of the musical Six. Hello, queens. How are you?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Well, I want to thank you all for being a part of my live at home Backstage with Richard Ridge for Broadway World. Look at technology. Look where we all are. The screen series.
I know.
It's great. It's great.
I have a lot of you up here. Would you each introduce yourselves to our audience? Tell them who you are and the role you play.
Okay, great.
Yes, let's do it. Well, I am Adrianna Hicks, and I play Catherine of Aragon in Six.
And I'm Andrea Macasaet. I play Anne Boleyn in Six.
I can't hear Andrea.
She's done with her introduction. It's your time.
Amazing. Great. Just so you know, I can't hear Andrea, so this is going to be a ball. I'm Anna Uzele,
Great.
and I play Catherine Parr in Six.
Well, listen, the musical Six imagines the six wives of Henry VIII as pop icons, and the show plays as a beautiful concert. Now, due to our technology, I could only have three of you here today, so let's give a big shout out to the three other sensational queens of Six. Let's hear it for Abby Mueller, who plays Jane Seymour. We can all clap.
Woo!
Brittany Mack, who plays Anna of Cleves. And of course, Samantha Pauly, who plays Catherine Howard. Let's hear it for her.
And let's not forget, we actually have six other queens, not three other
let's
queens.
talk about the other three. So,
Yeah,
so,
there are actually 9 of us, not 6.
All right, so mention the other three who I know fill in for all of you. Who wants to go with them?
I'll do it. Sure. Yeah, so we have 3 amazing alternates who have gone on for all of us multiple times and have just saved our lives so many times. Their names are Mallory Medkey, Nicole Lambert, and Courtney Mack.
Let's give a big round of applause to them.
Snaps.
You know, I saw Six on March 11th and fell in love with the show and all of you.
Oh, gosh.
You were all supposed to open the next night, which was March 12th. But that was the official day that Broadway shut down. So what was that day like for all of you, and how were you able to process it? Let's talk about that.
I mean, it was a very weird. Man. I feel like I was in my apartment getting my things ready to get my day started, and then maybe 1 p.m., 2 p.m., that New York announcement came out where Broadway was shutting down as of like 5 p.m. And I sat there being like, okay, so do I bring my stuff over? What do I do? And I remember texting the girls at maybe like 4 p.m. saying, hey guys, I'm in my bathroom. Do I shower? Or like, what does our day look like now? So it was very, very strange, almost like a weird dream that was happening, and we like, okay, we can wake up now.
Yeah.
Someone else go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very surreal experience for me too. I was hanging out downtown with my family and got a call from my agent, and my agent was like, yeah, so the governor just made an announcement about, everything shutting down after 5 o'clock. And I don't know if you're going to have your opening night, but I'll let you know officially once I hear, official word from the Six company. And Yeah, then a few minutes later he was like, "I'm so sorry, but it is canceled." And but I have to say that I'm so thankful that my family was able to be there during that time because that totally gave me a sense of just comfort to know that like I wouldn't want this to happen around anybody else more so like than my family, knowing that they were there to like support me during that time. And that was
Yeah.
such a huge blessing because yeah, a lot of them could actually come out this time, which is
Yeah.
interesting. Like I've never had this many people invited to an opening for me ever in my life. And man, yeah, that was really something. It was very surreal, very
Yeah.
surreal. Hmm.
Yeah. I wish I could hear what Andrea said, but
You'll have to
I
hear
was
it on
like
the
pretending
playback.
Oh
to nod.
no.
I'm sure she said something beautiful.
Yeah.
But
Oh man.
Honestly, I feel like the weight of what had happened really did not hit me
Yeah.
at all that first day. It was like, of course, I like went on Instagram or something and saw an article. Like I didn't hear from anyone except for the internet.
Yeah.
And so I went on. I was like, oh, I guess we're not doing a show tonight. Okay. And I
right.
remember in the moment, it genuinely didn't feel like the blow that it was, simply because there was just really no information and no one
Yeah.
really knew what was going on. And like, I guess we weren't really sure what this shutdown meant for Broadway at that time. So in the moment, I was just like, okay, cool. Like it's postponed. Like whatever. I'm tired anyway. I could use a couple weeks. Like sure, let's take a break and then we'll come back and do the show. Great, love it.
Yeah.
And I think the weight of and the disappointment and like all
Yeah.
of just the feelings of like, oh, I worked for something really hard and it's not going to happen yet. I don't think it happened until a couple weeks later.
Yeah.
For me personally. But again, like Adriana said, it was so nice to like have my family there. Of course, it was so sad to like see your family pull up in a car and see your brother in a Sunday best, like with a new haircut, and he never wears button downs, and he's wearing a button down. Like you see all the effort that the friends and family have put in to be there and support you. And so there was a little bit of me that almost like I was like, guys, I'm so sorry. Like I wish I could do my show for you. You worked so hard to come and support me. So yeah, I think that first day wasn't that hard, but it got harder as time went on.
Because you're on this train that was going down the track. I mean, you had done the show out of town. We had that incredible meet and greet with all of you. Then you go into tech, you do the show, you do previews, you get ready. But, as actors, what you're told, meaning, oh my gosh, they were like, oh my gosh, we're shutting down. Like, okay, I can deal with this for a day or so. But then, it hits you so much later of the impact it had on all of you.
Yeah.
It's funny for us in the press corps because we got our tip sheet that day and then they were only going to do photos, no video. I had a whole new purple outfit, as you can tell. I got my purple on today. I got your 6 souvenir book sitting next to me. I mean, I was like, okay, so I won't go live on the pre-carpet, but I'm going to celebrate with all of these beautiful ladies later on that night. And then we were told, I think my boss at Broadway World was the first one that sent me, he said, Richie, it's done tonight. And I was like, oh my gosh. He said, look for this thing that's going to come out officially in 10 minutes. And I was like, I was shocked by the whole thing too. I just wanted you to all have, and every show, but there were so many Broadway debuts in your show. And I remember talking to you all at the meet and greet. And I remember asking you, I remember asking Andrea, I was like, remember what that day was going to be like? Because you and I were going to talk that night. But listen, your opening is still going to happen. It's all going to happen when Broadway comes back.
And the thing is we've opened 4 times already.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So there was a part of me that was like, is this opening night or is this just the 5th opening?
Yeah.
So we were like, you know what? We've been open. We have performed this show for so many audiences. We've gotten all of the photos and the press and all of those things in so many cities. So we've received so much already. So the postponed, it's sad, but it's also like we've already done so much,
Yeah, I feel like when Broadway does open up again, I can only imagine how crazy it's going to be when 6 comes back and the lights come on and, it's just, it gives me goosebumps to think about what the audience is going to feel and what we're going to feel when we're back on that stage and rocking out. It's going to be something else, and I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a memorable moment that will definitely be in the books that we haven't, experienced yet. But I can only imagine that it'll be that way too. I definitely agree with Andrea on that.
Well, it's definitely a chapter for all of your books somewhere down the pike. When you all write a book, it's like, look what happened, to our
Right.
Broadway opening of
Right.
Six. How are you all doing with the staying at home and the social distancing? I want to get into this.
Okay, I can kind of, I'll start with that. I think
Okay.
that it's been both, like almost all the feelings, because you're kind of like, I'm happy that I get rest, and like when we come back it's going to be butter, we're going to be kicking our faces, even though we don't kick our face in the show at all, really. Unless we choose to. But and right, but then it's also this it's this saddened like type of atmosphere that's happening right now, because it's so tragic to see what's happening around the world, and also to see how, but there's also beauty in it too, because it's like we're all fighting against a common enemy, and it's just a constant reminder of how we are literally one people, one world, the human race. So that has really kind of taken a toll on me with the social distancing. And also, like, my brother and I just got back from the grocery store today, because it's like we've only been twice, or maybe like this is the one big round that we went just to like stay home. And that was a surreal experience too, because I mean, coming to the store, seeing everybody with gloves on and the mask on, it just kind of makes the reality of the news, which, usually when you watch the news, it's like, okay, it's information, we're getting that. But then like you're really informed when you go outside and you see people responding to what you just heard in your living room, and like, yeah, we all have some extent of reality with our television, but like when it's like outside of your house, outside doors, it's a huge reality check, and like, and just also gratefulness for just that I have another day to live. It just has been all of that in one situation. Yeah.
Who wants to take it next?
It's funny you just said that, Adriana, because I feel like that is something that's tricky about this time, is that we're seeing all these things on the news and we know it's real. But I know in my personal life, I'm very fortunate in that the people around me are healthy. And so you just have to like keep in mind that damage is being done. But it kind of feels like an invisible apocalypse to some people if you are fortunate enough, because I am privileged and I have a roof over my head and I have money to buy food. What? A lot of people don't have that. And so that is like such an incredible, incredible privilege that I have. But then on the other side of it, we did have our routines taken away from us. And it's funny because I feel like the way I felt a couple weeks later was not so much of like, yeah, I missed the show and I missed performing, but it felt like you almost kind of had to grieve your old lifestyle. Because it was ripped out from under you. And then sometimes you feel silly because you're like, well, I don't have corona, I'm not actually suffering, I shouldn't be complaining. But these things are real. And like, I don't know about how everyone else is doing out there, but like, mental health is a really, really intense thing. And for the first time, we're actually having to like look at it square in the face, because we don't have schedules to distract ourselves anymore. And like, we're in our living rooms 24/7, and so it's been really interesting to have moments of gratefulness and joy and just being really happy to rest. And then also really, really low moments where you're just like, I'm really sad because I miss my old lifestyle and I miss my friends and I miss human connection and touch and things like that. So it's definitely, like Dree said, like all the feelings for sure.
Yeah. Piggybacking on that, I think I've discovered just a lot of just self-compassion over these last couple weeks. And sometimes I wake up and I feel like, okay, today I'm going to tune into like a yoga class and get my life together. And then there are other days where I'm like, I'm going to order pizza and sit in my underwear and be really sad. So I'm honoring my emotions and just what my body and what my mind what they need. And I'm connecting with people that I didn't get to connect with in a long time, and that gives me, that feeds my soul. And I'm grateful that I get to wake up every day, and get to talk to people that I love, and that just happy to be here and in this moment. And I know that this will pass, and when it does, it's gonna be epic.
Yeah.
Sure. How often do you chat with each other? Is there like a 6 hotline?
Oh my gosh.
Yes, we have a group chat.
Oh my God, there should
We
be.
have a group chat,
Yeah.
and we also have an Instagram group chat where we send funny memes to one another all the time. We are in constant communication. We had a group FaceTime date yesterday, and it just brings back so much joy, and you go back to the feelings of how much we bring joy to one another, and how much we make each other laugh. And there's that comfort in knowing that, we are unified and we're all in this together, and kind of like nobody's being left behind, because we're all still holding hands virtually.
Yeah.
So what, do you run the show at all? Like, do you run the show all together on this FaceTime or whatever?
No, I think that's the last thing we want to do.
Right. We're like, I think we're going to take a little bit of a break, because kind of, like what we talked about with the fact that we get to rest these muscles that have been working. And I'm thinking to myself, I think we talked the other day, the girls and I, we were just saying, like, think about the people who've been in shows that have run on Broadway way longer than us, and the fact that like our entire careers, we've only maybe had like 1 or 2 week vacation here and there, like every year or so. So it's like, it's very interesting to see how you kind of react to that, because you're like, oh my God, after 2 weeks, it's like, oh, what do I do? I have to sing again. I have to do all this stuff. But yeah, so I think we're kind of marinating in the fact that we can rest and just kind of give these bones a little. I know for me, I'm like, I'm a little bit older, so.
Yeah, it's funny because yesterday, I don't know if Dre already said this, but we had that group chat yesterday. And we were talking about how like I think are still recovering from 2019.
For real.
Like, it was a beautiful, explosive, crazy, wild, fascinating year. But it also took a toll on our bodies and our throats and our minds and our hearts and our spirits, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think we fully realized that yet. And like, all of us called out before opening night.
Oh my gosh.
Like, my body hit overload. My body was like, no.
She was like, you got to get through June, so come on, sit down.
I know.
Oh,
that is hilarious. So are you like, what is a normal day like now? Are there projects you wanted to accomplish at home? Or like, we sit here, it's another day. Unless we ask, Alexa or our phone, it's like, oh, it's Tuesday. Oh, today's Wednesday.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I know the day for me kind of, at least I'm trying to every day, at least move my body, just some form of exercise activity, just to keep up what was, built up throughout this entire year and last year. And I know too, I have taken up painting again. I love to paint. It's been such a long time since I've done it. And now that I have time to do it, I'm like, make sure you make an effort to do that. Like, don't think about anything else, but focus on one thing, which is such it's so refreshing, to where you have to kind of learn it again, relearn it, like relearn how to sit down and focus on one thing and not like 10 million things that you have to do at once. So that's been my day. Just make sure I move at least once, if it's just a simple walk, or if it's like full on insanity type level, or or painting.
So what are you painting? Like landscapes or portraits or?
Okay, so look, this has been so much fun for me. I've like watched YouTube videos, because I was like, wait, so what can I paint? So the first thing that I did clouds, and they're so hard to do. But I was so proud of my clouds. Like, if I could go downstairs right now and show you guys like my paintings, I totally would, but my brother is like in another conference call as well. So it's like so many things happening in this house. However, I painted that, and then my next picture, so Richie, make sure you check this out. My next one is like this abstract, like I had to take several days to paint it. Don't know what it is, but but it's fabulous. I was very proud of myself, and it's completely different from the clouds because the clouds are like very. You look at it and you're like, oh, I just wanted peace. But this one, the other one is just like color and blah, throw up. So it's great.
I'm
It's really
so
great.
that.
proud of
Clouds
you.
are tough. I knew
I'm gonna
someone
do,
who used to
yeah.
paint clouds. They're tough to do. Otherwise, it
They
looks
are
like
tough.
marshmallows or something.
Yeah, you got to make sure you got the right brushes and everything. It's
That's
a thing.
amazing.
It's a thing, and I think I'll tackle trees next. Those are my next.
Yes.
That's a next one.
Get
It's
those
gonna be
trees,
great.
girl. Get
It's
them.
gonna be
What else are you? What the other for the other ladies? What are you doing? Like,
great.
what's a day like? What are the projects you're working on?
Well, I make sure that I do one thing in my apartment. So I set a day
Yeah.
for, okay, today I'm going to clean the kitchen and
Yeah.
that's it. So I don't run out of activities in the house. So I'll clean one thing, I'll make sure I move my body, but I've now started to just sing along to karaoke tracks every day, and I've been posting it on my Instagram. So I make videos mostly for my mom to to check in with me and so she can hear me sing. So I post a song every day, and then I watch a movie or two, and then I do the whole thing all over again the next day.
Is there a go-to karaoke track for you? Is there someone you're obsessed with?
I got a lot of requests over these last few days, so I'm trying something new every day. My go-to karaoke tracks will always be a Whitney Houston track.
Yeah.
I feel like in my big Filipino family, Whitney is just the number one requested song. So at some point I'm gonna drop a little Whitney karaoke and chill cover one of these
I love
days.
it.
So good.
But yeah, that's what my days look like.
Is she talking?
Go
Would
ahead.
you like to
Ann.
share?
Oh, okay, great.
I know it must be so hard that you can't hear her. It's like, is she done? It's like reading lips.
She's like,
You gotta know, but I
"Is she
can't
done?"
see her either.
Oh,
baby.
So
oh,
all I can see is Adrianna. So I'm just looking at Adrianna really hard to like look at her facial cues.
oh, no. Okay, girl, I'll make sure I'll be like, go ahead.
Okay. Like use that face, you know?
Yes, like.
So I feel like because the show is so physically demanding, prioritizing like your physical health is like sometimes really hard to do. So it's been cool to actually have the time to do those things. I have always, at least for the past year, have really enjoyed doing like some like light acrobatics and like handstands and partner work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And now that it's like beautiful outside, it's been really fun to like go outside with the dog and like work on some tricks with the boyfriend and like practice handstands on his shoulders and things like that, and actually have like the physical strength to be able to do that because, you know, you're not like screaming the night before. And then also I've really enjoyed cooking too, and like finding like new recipes, just because like we're all afraid of getting sick right now, and to me I feel like the biggest defense is just like filling your body with things that are good for it and like figuring out fun ways to like make things healthy. And like I just like love eating food, and so it's really fun to like make things I enjoy that my body and my cells will also enjoy too. So I made this like really good chocolate pudding the other day that was like all avocado with like sweetened with dates and then cocoa powder, and it tasted just like chocolate pudding, but it was like completely avocado, cocoa powder, and dates. It was amazing.
Look. Anna, you're good now. To cook.
Yes, come on.
Because you're all perfecting your culinary skills. The other what are you working on at home? What are those like go-to meals now? You're like, wow, I just perfected this.
Yes.
Well, yeah, mine are, I think, like, I've perfected my spaghetti.
Yes.
But it's been, what else? Like, I'm trying to make, like, salmon croquettes tonight with, like, my mom used to make those when I was younger. So those are my two. I don't know. What about you girls?
I've made a lot of banana bread over these last few days because I get bananas and then I eat them, but then I have so many left over because then they go bad. Then I have to buy some new ones and then I freeze the old ones. So I've just been making banana bread constantly. So now my banana bread is really nice and soft and fluffy. It was a challenge at first, but here we are.
Great.
You're all going to have to bring these meals to like your first day back at 6 when you go back into rehearsal again. You're going to have to bring your chocolate pudding with dates. You're going to have to bring your banana bread. You're going to have to bring some spaghetti and a picture of your clouds. You're going to your new paintings going to have to go in your dressing room just so.
Oh my gosh, the amount of paintings that are going to hang up everywhere. It's going to be ridiculous.
Adrianna, you got to make me a painting.
I will. I'll do that, friend. I got
girls, right?
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. I haven't bumped up to like people yet, so I'm trying to. I'm not that great, but I can do like shapes and maybe like landscapes, but people, I'm gonna probably get to silhouettes. I can do that, and then I'll work my way up.
We'll give someone can have the clouds, someone can have a tree picture.
Right.
Perfect actually painting the queens of 6.
True. Right. Okay, I got you. Yeah, that's it.
What about binge watching? Who's watching TV? Are there series? Are there things? Are there shows? All right, hands up.
Oh yeah.
Boop boop. Dre, you want to go? Go ahead, boop.
So I have started Little Fires Everywhere with Reese Witherspoon and Kerry Washington.
Okay.
So good.
Okay.
I recently finished On My Block and All American. All very good, like teen dramas. And today I'm going to start Ozark.
Nice. I keep hearing about that show. Ozark. She said Ozark, Anna.
Oh, I want
she gonna start it. Yeah, she gonna start it. And she said she watched Little Fires. What's it called?
Yes!
Because I haven't.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I haven't. I keep seeing people talk about that show, and I'm like, oh, what's? I should start with
Kerry
that
Washington is everything.
Yes. Excellent.
Oh, good.
Who else is binge watching? Go ahead.
Yeah, Annie, you can go.
Okay. So this is not going to be a popular thing, but I really like watching TV shows about pandemics. Like really dramatic where everyone dies. I know it's bad. So the first thing I watched was Outbreak, and then the second thing I watched was Containment, and it was so much fun. I love going down the dark spiral. I know, it's not everyone's thing. It's okay. But then the second thing has been, weirdly enough, Fantasia, because so I feel like the art that is created in times of hardship is the most fascinating thing on earth. And Fantasia was done in the 1940s in the middle of the Great Depression. And we are experiencing things in our economy that harken back to those times. And it's crazy to watch it and be like, the last time our country was in this position of dire need and struggle, this is the art people made. And I am so amazed and wowed to see what the human mind can come up with. And so watching it almost feels like, I don't know. Watching it, I'm like, oh my God, you were going through what we're going through. Oh, and that's the art you made. Wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So that's made me feel really good lately.
That's great. That's so awesome. I thought about this.
Outbreak, Containment, Fantasia.
Those are so over the map. I love it. They're all so different.
Great. Well, I went back to like old shows. And it's funny because I'm rewatching The Tudors.
Yes.
I mean, 6 couldn't get away from me. So I went back and rewatched it because I never seen it past season 2 to see how they went through with Jane Seymour and on. And I'm really curious to see how they finish that. And I guess there's 4 seasons. At least that's what Netflix tells me. But yeah, so I just started season 2 and I'm excited to see the last 3 seasons. Never seen.
K Howard's season, it's
Oh,
rough.
really? Oh, it gets to Howard. Boom. See, I didn't know if they
honey, it goes through Catherine Parr.
Oh,
Oh my
It
god.
goes through Henry's death.
Oh, good. Oh, I
Yes.
can't wait.
You see the whole story.
Yeah.
So good.
So I had a
I love
refresher, and
that.
then I'm going through into new stuff. So I figured like that's perfect timing. See, I don't know why I stopped watching it before, but it's just perfect timing to watch it now.
I love that. These are all such coveted roles. How intense was the audition process? Because you're all so wonderful at what you do. And you have to do so much in this show.
The audition process was fun. I think I had.
Is anyone talking? Am I okay to talk?
You're right though. Dre was talking. Go ahead, Dre. It's okay, boo. But it's okay. It's all good. That's me. I'm not on my game. So Dre's gonna talk first, and then I'll point to you, boo boo, and then you go.
Love it.
I
Take
love
it away,
that.
baby.
I think that the audition process was really fun. It was unlike anything I had ever experienced because you actually had to sing in front of everybody auditioning. So I was in Toronto. You first sang your pop song, and so I sang my pop song. I got called back in Toronto, but during that callback, everybody who was called for Anne Boleyn had to go into the room, and we all sang the song in front of each other.
Wow.
And then it was the same process in Chicago. But that Chicago day for final callbacks was a very, very long. And we all became delirious. And in that deliriousness, we all became friends. So it was so much fun. I remember being in that final callback and just kind of feeling just inspired by how kick-ass all these women were, and just leaning into their energy, and then being inspired to like bring up my energy so that we were all in the room just kicking butt and belting our faces off and just showing just our different personalities.
Yeah. It was fun. Yeah, it was so much fun. Dre was just talking about like for people who don't know, Anna can't hear Dre, so we're just trying to help her out. But yeah, so the audition process for me, I know that I just remember thinking I get to go in here and pretend like I'm an artist that I used to listen to as far back as I can remember growing up. I mean, not that far, but but I loved Beyonce growing up. So listening to her and watching her journey with like Destiny's Child and everything, I remember thinking, this is so much fun. Like this isn't an audition, but I've been practicing this since I was, however many years old. Like I think it was 12 or 11 when I started to like really watch her. And the audition process was really great to just be empowered by the women in the room too, and just to sit there and be in that energy and just be like, wow, all of us are in here and we're kicking butt. And whatever happens with us, I just applaud every woman that is in this room. So yeah, that was just the presence and getting called in for multiple roles, which is interesting because I got called in for Aragon and Seymour and Cleves, which was so much fun to be able to like try to find all three of these different women. But I fell in love with Catherine right at the beginning, so that was a good time. So much fun.
Yeah. Anna, for you.
I remember in the beginning, I didn't really know what the project was, and I had to run across town from another project to audition and then run back. And it was a crazy day where I didn't really know what I was doing, but I just sang a pop song. And then when it came to our final callback in Chicago, like many people, I was called back for multiple roles. It was Aragon, Boleyn, Howard, and Parr. And they went in queen order. And so everyone called back for Aragon went first. And then you went, Aragon, Boleyn, Seymour, Cleves, Howard, Parr. So by the time we got to Parr, it had been like a 10-hour day. And I had sang through all the songs. Like I knew I Don't Need Your Love. But when you've been singing no way, don't lose your head, and then all you want to do several times throughout the day, and then finally it's time to go sing I Don't Need Your Love. My tank was at empty. And to me, I almost thought it was a blessing in disguise, because when you're auditioning for something, it's so easy to have an idea of what they want to see. Yeah. And so you're very much so trying to make yourself into what you think they want, which is an impossible task, and we should all stop trying to do that. But it was really cool to do Catherine Parr when I had nothing left to give.
Yeah.
Because my only option was to just be truthful and to just be myself. Which is really cool. And I think in moments like when we're in rehearsals where I'm like, I don't know who I am and I can't sing the song anymore, and it's so cool to remember that like we got these roles because we were ourselves. Yeah. And like they want us, and they were attracted to what they saw in us. And like I have to remind myself of that all the time in rehearsals and performances of like, no, you're supposed to be here. Yeah. So yeah, it was really crazy. But yeah, I don't know how I sang that song at the end of the day.
Wow. Like I said, there's so much pressure put on all of you during, callbacks and auditions and all of that stuff. What an incredible creative team you have. I mean, look at Toby Marlowe and Lucy Moss. So young. They're the coolest people. I loved meeting them at the meet and greet. Yeah. I can't wait for them to have their Broadway debut. What's it like working with them and the creative team?
Amazing.
They're amazing, right? It's felt like being back at school again, because it's been a little bit since I've been in college, and just to see how like the freshness of coming out of school just bright-eyed and being like, oh yeah, we used to do that. Like I've forgotten. It just helps me to remember working with them. They have just such a youthfulness about them, and just like that approach in everything that we did. Like everything was a game. Everything was just like, okay, we're gonna play this game, and then we're gonna exercise it in our song some way. And I was like, man, I have not done that in so long. So that was a interesting and cool way to kind of visit the character and to learn from them. And they're just so, I loved in rehearsals, they would always be playing around. Like we would have a break and they go to the piano and just sing and dance and like make up random songs in the rehearsal room. They're just beautiful, beautiful people to work with, and so open-hearted with how they directed us and led us throughout this entire process so far.
Who wants to go next?
Something that I feel like I've really appreciated about them that has been so wonderful is just how dedicated they are to communicating clearly with us. Because it's funny, like, yeah, we speak the same language, but has been a lot of like communication barriers. Well, they'll say something and I'm like, I don't know what that means. And it's been so, I don't know, meaningful to me to watch how this British creative team, who is accustomed to working with British actors, comes over to the United States and is so interested in making sure that us Americans know exactly what they're talking about. And they even altered parts of the script so that it made sense in our brains and to the American audience's brains. So I don't know. I just found that very, very meaningful to see how dedicated they were to making sure that we understood and we were not stepping out on the stage confused or, just not knowing what we were doing. But they've always been like really, really diligent about that and just really, really good communicators.
Yeah.
Andrea, for you.
I think I love Toby and Lucy for obviously all of what we were talking about, what the girls said, but moments that stick out for me specifically is when we are, about to open a big Broadway show, and we have this like, obviously there's pressure. It's opening here in New York, and we have been doing this, and we just want to make the artistic team proud. We want to make each other proud, and I think in those moments we start to forget like who we are, and we're like so focused on making this piece as epic as we can, no matter what. And Lucy and Toby have this way of just regrounding all of us and just being like, you guys, it's not that deep. We are here, and just enjoy it. Let's all enjoy this ride, and it'll be what it'll be, and it's gonna be great. So I think they have this super chill way of making you feel like, okay, it's okay to feel human, and this is what I'm feeling is okay, and we can put that aside and let's have fun now.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love it, Trevor. It's all female up there. I love that. Female band, female musical director, everything. How empowering is that?
Oh,
it's so cool. It's so
amazing.
badass. Yeah.
Beyond words. It's really been awesome. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So do you remember the first time you all saw yourselves made up in the mirror, like in full queen drag? I mean, wig, makeup, boots, shoes, hair, everything. What went through your minds?
Oh, first of all, I was like, how am I going to dance in this? Like, that was probably the main thing. But I'm also like, I look fierce. Like, this is so, who would have thought that I would, like, what a blessing it is to be able to say that, like, yeah, I got to put on these amazing, every element of this show has like come together in such a beautiful way, from the lights to the band to the like the cast to just our costumes. Even like, yeah, those costumes just take you to another place. I know they do that for me, and I get so excited to be able to put that on every day, even though it is one of the hardest costumes to put on. So a lot going on with that, but I have a beautiful, not love-hate relationship with it, but it's like love kind of dislike relationship,
I know.
Not so harsh as hate, but it's like a balance. But yeah, you just feel like who the goddesses that we are, which is really, really cool.
I know that,
such details.
That
Anna,
first
for you,
day, that I think it was like a couple days before our first dress rehearsal or something like that, because obviously we had been in the costumes for all of 2019, but then when we got our upgrades on Broadway, we had all been talking about it and chatting about it and texting about it and like, expressing the little details that had been nipped and tucked. And then when we finally got to all put our costumes on, we all walked out on the stage together, and we all just looked at each other and screamed, and we're like, what? Your butt looks amazing. And like, we were all freaking out, and like, it was so cool to see, like, I don't know, just the level up, and also to see how much of our costumes were influenced by us expressing our needs to our costume designer. Like, that was so cool to be like, I had been feeling uncomfortable in this way, and this had been poking me, and like, wow, you took into consideration what I needed, and I feel comfortable and fabulous at the same time. Thank you so much. Wow. So that was really cool for me too.
Mm-hmm.
Andrea, for you.
Yeah, I remember putting on the costume the first time in Chicago, and then I remember putting on the costume in dress rehearsal on Broadway, and each time I looked around and I felt like I was a pop star. I felt like this wasn't like a musical. It was a full-blown concert. I am a pop star now, and I'm gonna rock out in this for the rest of my life. It just felt super cool, and there's something about, putting on the green sleeves and then putting on the lipstick and then walking out and feeling like I'm about to shake up a storm right now. Yeah. There's a really cool feeling about that, and I'm just lucky, I guess. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Talk about the audience. I don't know the last time I was at a show where the audience, on the second they walked into the theater, was on this incredible high, which I'm sure you felt before you even started. And then you all walk out there and you get this like rage of applause. I mean, you have this incredible fan base with this show, Six, and you had that before you played your first performance in New York. I mean, I know you did Broadway Con. I mean, you sang and you did a whole thing there, and all the fans came dressed up as all of you. I mean, what's it like meeting the fans of Six and this fan base? And have you named them yet? Have you named the fans?
Yes.
Like, what do you name?
Yeah. We call our fandom the Queendom. And it's incredible. They are so creative and they're so talented. Everything from their cosplay and their fan art and the portraits to clothing that they make for us. It's insane. And they crochet things and we have little mini
Oh my
dolls
gosh.
and we have small little Anne Boleyn crochet dollies and
Yeah.
it's super cool and I'm so happy that they get to just have an outlet to feel like they're seen and they are appreciated and they have women like Gabriella Slade who take over Instagram and like tell you what she suggests to make costumes and how you can achieve like the Anne Boleyn fluffy bouncy skirt and it's so cool. Meeting the fans it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Someone else?
Yeah, they're like, I am so amazed and impressed with just like the creativity that is like gushing out of them every day. The artwork and I'm sure Dre said all this.
Yeah.
But like just all the beautiful things they've made. And one thing that was cool too is that like we had a fandom before we even opened in Chicago, but not because of us. Like because of the queens in London who paved the way. Like that was so cool to step into something where I was like, oh my gosh, like I've only been in a rehearsal room for like 3 weeks and there's this entire community of people that are here ready to welcome me. Because usually when you open a show, nobody knows what the show is and they're still trying to figure out if they like it or not. But we got to open a show with a group of people that were like ready to celebrate with us because of all of the brilliant work that the people in London had previously done. So like part of why the Queendom I feel like has meant so much to me is because like it was, the girls who played Par before me who created that fan base for me, so I feel like I have such so much gratitude for the Queendom, but also the London Queens and for everything they did to make that foundation for us.
Yeah.
Love it. Adrianna?
It's been a beautiful journey to just see how people are so inspired by this show and these beautiful these kids that are just like they're learning their voice, they're learning how to express like, no, I like that. No, I don't like that. Or like, and they're not ashamed of it, which I have always admired that about the young generation and how they're able to express so much love with this show, with that, and just to be like, I can be who I am and I'm here and I really have enjoyed seeing that and to see them light up anytime that we do things that sometimes I don't even think even like that don't really register with me sometimes. And then they're like, girl, when you did this, like, I'm like, oh, that touched you in some way. So that has been such an enlightening and beautiful experience. And like, I have to tag back to, I love the fan art. I am obsessed with how they're just so creative and like, it's inspired me to be like, girl, like they're so good. Like they're so good. That creating that outlet for the kids to just come out and just like, it's just really been a beautiful experience. Really great.
I have a fun question for all of you. What Broadway diva do you most look up to, and which diva would you cast in your role in a one-night only performance of 6?
It's a great question. All right. Somebody want to go?
Oh my god.
That's a great question. Okay. Ask it one more time. Ask it one more time. Just make sure we.
So it's what Broadway diva do you most look up to? Who do you look up to the most? And which diva would you cast? It could be a different one in your role in a one-night only performance of 6. So who do you look up to the most? And who would you cast in your role? Could be the same person, could be someone different.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I have an answer for you. What the Broadway diva that I am just most excited for and who just like shines a really cool light is Ava Noblezada. She's paved a way for like Asian sisters like me to, show up fully and wholly and love myself in every way. So, and she's just slaying the game right now. So I'm really proud of her in that sense. But a diva that I would cast to play Anne Boleyn is I really want to see Miley Cyrus take this role on.
Yeah.
I think she would do it so cool and so fun.
That's a great
Yeah.
choice. Who wants to go next?
I'll take it. Cause I got some people. Okay, so the diva that I really, really look up to for sure would definitely have to be the legendary Audra McDonald. I am just inspired by this woman, and just like she has definitely paved the way for a lot of women to break the mold and just like break down so many barriers to be able to perform and just create if you're good at it and do it. Like she's just there's no barriers or lines or limits with her, and just to see how her career has been so graceful, and she's presented herself that way. And yeah, so I definitely look up to her. And the diva that I would probably cast in this role, like I have multiple people that come to mind, and they're all different but very similar, because I know that they would sing the heck out of it. So either like Ledisi for me, or I would love to hear like, this is so out of the box, but I would love to hear like maybe like a Fantasia or like even a Jessie J kind of come in and blow it out of the water. Because all three of these women, they're so different, but they're elements of like power and stance, like embody Catherine of Aragon. And it's easy to say Beyonce, but I mean, like, she's already like, that's just who she is. So yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, someone that changed my life as a kid was Brandy. In Brandy Cinderella, just because I think watching that as a kid was the first time it actually clicked in my head that a Black girl could get the guy in the end and could be the princess and was not banished to best friend, wisdom figure, sassy, whatever. You know what I mean? Like generic caricature. So that to me was like, what? So yes, I look up to her, and yes, I also would love her to play Par. I would also love to see Sierra Renee play Par as well.
Yes.
And then too, like, it's funny, I can think of like famous people, but then also I like have friends that I care about that I think are like just really fantastic people and fantastic performers that like aren't famous yet, but I'm like, you should take my job. So I have one friend like Cassandra James. I would die to see her sing I Don't Need Your Love. So I think those two would be my famous people.
Those are all really good choices for all of you. Those are really great. Listen, I want to thank you all for doing this today. I mean, the fans are all out there. I mean, everybody comes to Broadway World. I mean, you've all been there, actors, composers, lyricists. Everyone is sharing their stories and what they're doing at home. And all the fans are going to Broadway World, because we're all in this together. I mean, everybody thinks, that God tapped you on the shoulder and says, oh, you're going to be famous. You're going to be famous. But you have all the same insecurities, and you're going through all the same things that everybody else in the world is going. You're all such an inspiration to all these young women who are like, oh my gosh, Six has changed my life. What you all give them. They see themselves in you, like you said, the fans that give you all this beautiful stuff. They're like, oh my God, I may be able to do this when I get out of college. They listen to your stories about how you, re-audition in Chicago. You were all with, 9 Anne Boleyns together. It's like, how do you stay focused and do that? It's like walk into a room and say, oh, I'm going to focus on this audition and hopefully I'll get this. Or Anna, you saying that, it was the end of the day for you and you were exhausted, but you went in there and you said, I just gave them me. And I think what you've shown everybody today is just be yourselves, be you, don't be a carbon copy of someone else. Just be yourself. That's what makes you all unique at what you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to
Thank you
thank
so
you all. Like I
much.
said, your Broadway opening will happen for 6. We will all be there. I have your souvenir book sitting right here, which I got
Oh.
off with all these beautiful pictures. I have this. I'm obsessed with your show. As you know, I have been from the very first day. I fell in love with all of you at that meet and greet that we all did. I think it was in Hudson Yards, wherever we were with that. And I just want to thank our audience who's watching today that, if anybody wants to donate to something, I'd love for someone to look at BCEFA because Broadway, BroadwayCares.org, this is the 6-week period where they normally do their red bucket, the red bucket follies. They have 6 weeks of fundraising, which you all would have done. They raised close to $6 million at this time. But since all the theaters are closed in New York and on the road, they weren't able to do that. But Broadway Cares has the COVID-19 Emergency Assistant Fund online campaign, which they have already raised $1.5 million, which they have given to the Actors Fund.
Wow.
That's
Awesome.
amazing. Oh my goodness.
So
Wow.
all anybody has to do, if you give $5 or $10, anybody watching this, just go to BroadwayCares.org. And like I said, ladies, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I will be there at your opening. And for everyone else watching out there, tomorrow I have Leslie Kritzer, one of the stars of Beetlejuice, joining my show at noon tomorrow. But listen,
we just have to wish Richard Ridge a very happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday!
I spent my birthday with the Queens of 6. I am so excited to spend my day with you today.
Birthday, my dear. Oh gosh. Wow.
Well, I thank you all. Like I
Thank
said,
you.
we have to give a shout out to your great producers. I mean, Vona Brian Brown, everybody who works on your show. You have this most incredible team that works on this show. And this has been a show that's sort of been outside of the box. The way it started, like with Toby and Lucy, and just the whole journey that it's taken. Wouldn't you all agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. So thankful. Yeah.
Well, listen, stay safe. Keep cooking, make all these great things. When I talk to you on opening night, I want to hear all about, the banana breads and the spaghetti and your chocolate pudding. I want to see pictures of your paintings and everything else. So I thank you again. Have a great day, ladies. Wonderful to see everybody.
You.
Take care, everybody, and join us tomorrow.
All right. Thank you. Bye, guys. Take care.